Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into a delightful little myth that has been swirling around for centuries. What do St. Bernards carry in their barrels? Now, if you've ever seen a St. Bernard, you know they're not just any dog. They're like the gentle giants of the canine world, and when you throw in a barrel around their neck, you've got a recipe for some serious folklore. The iconic image. First off, let's set the scene. Picture this: a massive, fluffy dog trudging through the snow, a little wooden barrel dangling from its collar. It's the kind of image that makes you think, wow, that dog must be packing some serious supplies. And what do we all assume is in that barrel? Brandy. Yes, folks, the legend says these dogs were delivering life-saving liquor to stranded travelers. Because nothing says rescue like a shot of alcohol when you're lost in a snowstorm. But let's get real for a second. The idea that a St. Bernard is carrying around a barrel of brandy is about as plausible as finding Bigfoot serving drinks at your local bar. The truth is, while it makes for a great story, it's more myth than reality. The origins of the barrel. Now, where did this whole barrel business come from? It turns out that the image of the St. Bernard with a barrel can be traced back to an 1820 painting by Edwin Landseer titled Alpine Mastiffs Reanimating a Distressed Traveler. In this artwork, one of the dogs has a barrel around its neck. And just like that, history was rewritten. Suddenly, every St. Bernard became a four-legged bartender on a mission to save lives with booze. But wait, there's more. According to some sources, the monks at the Great St. Bernard Hospice, where these dogs were bred and trained, never actually equipped them with barrels. They claim it was all part of an artistic embellishment. So here we are thinking these dogs were like furry little paramedics with brandy on standby, when in reality they were just doing their job without any extra spirits. What's really in the barrel? So if it's not brandy, what could possibly be in that barrel? Some say it might have contained food or water, practical items for any rescue mission. Others speculate it could have been some sort of warming liquid to help revive frozen travelers. But let's be honest, if you're freezing to death in the Alps, do you really want to be sipping on something that might just make your situation worse? I mean, alcohol may give you a temporary warm feeling, but it actually lowers your core body temperature. It's like saying, hey buddy, here's some ice cream while you're stuck in an avalanche. The reality of rescue dogs. Now let's talk about what St. Bernards were actually doing up there in those treacherous mountains. These dogs were bred for their incredible sense of smell and their ability to navigate through snow. They weren't just wandering around with barrels. They were trained rescue dogs who saved thousands of lives over the years. Imagine being buried under snow and having one of these big fluff balls dig you out. No barrel needed. And speaking of heroism, one famous St. Bernard named Barry is credited with saving over 40 people during his service. That's right. He was like the canine version of Superman, but instead of wearing a cape, he had fur and probably smelled like wet dog. Conclusion: a myth worth keeping. In conclusion, while the image of a St. Bernard carrying a barrel is charming and has become an emblematic part of Swiss culture, it's time we recognize it for what it truly is: a delightful myth. These dogs are incredible creatures with hearts as big as their bodies and are far more than just furry delivery systems for alcohol. So next time someone asks you what's in that barrel around the St. Bernard's neck, feel free to share the legend, but also set the record straight. Tell them it's not about brandy. It's about bravery and loyalty. And remember, if you ever find yourself lost in the Alps, don't expect to find salvation at the bottom of a barrel. Just hope there's a St. Bernard nearby ready to dig you out.